The audio commentary. It's a dying art form, but here at One Track Mind, I, your wonky yet affable host Ryan Luis Rodriguez, analyze film through the prism of these embryonic forms of podcasting, one audio commentary at a time. Masterpieces, crapster pieces, live action, animation, cult classics, films literally no one has ever heard of. No track is too small, and no track is too big. Join me and my guests from the entertainment world as we keep these features alive every other Tuesday. Hey, who else is going to discuss Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey one week and Citizen Kane the next? Us, that's who. Sure, you have to put up with my voice, but there's a certain give and take in this industry. That's One Track Mind, part of the Someone's Favorite Productions family, and available wherever you get your podcasts.
Hello, this is Chris Haskell from They Live by Film. For those that don't know us, Adam, Zach, and I, we built a podcast over the last 2 years that's a combination of film discussion from 3 very different perspectives, as well as industry interviews with the leaders in boutique Blu-ray and 4K community. We started with Dev Crocodile, but over time we've been lucky enough to speak with Arrow Video, Severin, Mondo Macabro, Vinegar Syndrome, Radiance, Indicator, most of the OCN partner labels. It's been a blast. You can find us wherever you podcast, and also actually recently as part of Someone's Favorite Production Podcast Network. We hope to see you online.
All right, welcome to the On Seagal podcast, the Steven Seagal podcast with, well, all Steven Seagal. My name is Trevor Gumbel. Joining me is...
Well, it's me, Chris Stachiw. I'm here, and we're talking Mr. Steven Seagal. But Steven Seagal's not on this podcast. I don't want our album artwork to mislead you. Steven Seagal's not actually here, but that's all we're talking about. So,
I'd love for him to be here, though. One of these days, maybe.
So if this is your first time joining us on the podcast, we are taking a look at Steven Seagal's entire filmography from start to finish, but we're not going chronologically because Steven Seagal's later work is pretty much confined solely to direct-to-TV or DVD features. So we decided we'll take a look at his first film and then his last film, and we'll work back and forth until we meet in the middle. So on this episode of the On Seagal podcast, we are talking about 2019's Beyond the Law.
I wanted you dead, kid. He's the dirtiest cop I ever knew. Look, you're not a cop anymore. Stop on your knees! The kid is in a lot of trouble. You sure about that? Don't say a mother word to me.
Steven Seagal, DMX, Johnny Messner. Beyond the Law.
Beyond the Law.
So the film is directed by James Cullen Bressick. It is written by Chad Law and Johnny Martin Walters. It stars Johnny Messner, Steven Seagal, DMX, and that bastard child bully, Zach Ward. From The Christmas Story, right?
Yep.
Scotty Farkas, right?
Yeah, Scott Farkas.
Yeah.
With his yellow eyes.
So he's here. Stars Johnny Messner as a retired cop who is trying to figure out who murdered his son. So, you and I had never seen this film before, Trevor. And we hadn't really watched a whole lot of Steven Seagal's DTV stuff, his direct-to-video films.
Not really, and, maybe this wasn't the best place to start. Because let's just get down to it right now. He's barely in this. And the parts he is in, he's not doing any kung fu, Steven Seagal arts that you know him for.
He does, but it's literally in the last minute of the film.
Mostly not. He's mostly sitting down, speaking in I can only describe as trying his best to be Brando from The Godfather voice.
It's very played up dramatic. It's very, very played up. Like
exactly.
He's talking like this, and he's very quiet. And it's like, oh my God, is this all you do now?
I told you to stop selling drugs. Stop hurting me.
So,
and we just went through the majority of his dialogue. So, because every scene he's in, it's the same dialogue the whole time.
We have just talked more now than Steven Seagal is even in this movie.
Yeah, pretty much.
What's weird to me is, and Trevor, I'm sure you've heard this as well, there was kind of this rumor, this murmur that I had heard when talking with people about later Seagal films, that Seagal is barely even in them. And he's essentially on the cover of these films to entice someone to either rent or purchase the film. And I tell you, to your point, this film is bang on the nose exactly that.
Exactly. It is. It's basically because his name still can carry some clout when it comes to renting an action film. Because there are people like you and me who still love the old school, action stars of our childhood, our Van Damme, Seagal, Schwarzenegger, Stallone, basically anybody from the Expendables. And, we still hope against hope that they'll bring that magic back that they had. So, of course, we're going to rent it and, hope for a buried treasure, a needle in the haystack. But unfortunately, this time it was a whole lot of haystack and no needle.
Yeah, it's weird. So, you have DMX in this film. DMX and Steven Seagal worked together early in the 2000s on Exit Wounds. And and I assumed, as I'm sure you did, oh, hey, Seagal and DMX are in this film together. They're going to share a scene. They are never on fucking screen together once.
And I think that's on purpose because from what I understand, DMX hated working with Seagal on Exit Wounds.
Exactly.
Apparently, he really hated Seagal on that film. So I'm like, I was surprised he even did another film that had Seagal's name on it, But DMX is in the film. He's not terrible.
DMX, again, he's not given a whole lot to do. DMX plays a dirty cop
former partner, I think, of Johnny Messner. Because Johnny Messner was fired from the force because he was a dirty cop.
Because he's a dirty cop. Yeah. But they never have a scene together. But DMX DMX is not given much to do, as is pretty much anyone other than Johnny Messner in this film. And he does a good enough job with what he's given. But they're not asking him to do much. He's essentially being asked to play a dirty cop who is on the payroll for Steven Seagal's character, who, by the way, we haven't even mentioned his character's name, Augustino Finn Adair.
Yeah, because he's so French.
Where do you think this film was set? Meant to be set? Because I think it was supposed to be New Orleans.
Yeah, me too.
Right?
It was like, it had that little bit of a Cajun vibe, because there are the scenes that take place at Johnny Messner's character, Frank Wilson's home. And he has that friend played by Bill Cobbs, and they kind of have that Cajun vibe.
Well, they're like, out here in the swamp, we look after ourselves. Like, okay.
So, and by the way, Bill Cobb, best actor in the film. And he deserves a lot better than this film because he's one of my favorite character actors.
Well, Bill Cobb brings a gravitas to this film that it does not deserve.
Absolutely does not deserve.
And look, here's the thing, and I know that there are people out there that are going to listen to this podcast and go, why are you watching Steven Seagal movies if all you're going to do is rag on them or pick them apart? Well, guess what? How many people are talking about Beyond the Law? Nobody. But here's the thing. It deserves to be talked about. It's a film that people made. People fucking worked on it.
Yeah.
People got paid. It's not like Bill Cobb's DMX were sitting down and working for fucking nothing.
It's our duty as a Seagal podcast to watch a Seagal film, and they're not all going to be winners. I guarantee you we're going to come across Seagal films that are amazing. That I can promise you. But, you got to call out the shit when it's shit. I'm sorry. I mean, we're not bashing on Seagal. It's the film.
Yeah, but I mean, here's the thing, though. What is bizarre to me is for as front and center on the poster as Steven Seagal is.
Uh-huh.
Look at the poster for Beyond the Law. Steven Seagal is front and center. Dude is in the movie for 6 minutes of an hour and a half runtime.
And I think that's the fault of the film.
Yeah, oh yeah, but here's the thing: they all do that. Every DTV Steven Seagal film has him front and center, and it's like Jesus H Christ, guys.
And if I was Seagal, I'd be complaining, to be honest with you, because I wouldn't want something that's falsely advertising that I'm the star.
I think Steven Seagal looks at it as he's advertised as the star. Doesn't matter how much he's actually in the movie.
Yeah, but
I have gotten the sense that Steven Seagal has a rather fragile ego, and in having said fragile ego, him being front and center on a movie poster in a film where he's only in it 6 minutes matters more to him that he's on the cover of the film's box than being in the film for a substantive amount of time.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, it's lazy on his part,
Extremely.
But at the same time, he could complain that he's not in the movie enough. I mean, we literally just talked about a movie where he was getting his co-stars written out of the film so he could have more screen time. And now all of a sudden, he's settling for 6 minutes of screen time.
Did you count?
No, I didn't count, and that may be an underestimation, but I can tell you what, he's not in the film enough to really talk about his performance other than he's kind of there, and he's kind of doing Cajun accent, French accent.
Is that what that was?
I couldn't figure it out for the life of me. Steven Seagal was born in the United States. Steven Seagal is an American citizen. He doesn't have a accent of note. He was born in Lansing, Michigan. It's not like he was born in New York or born in, or he has the Brahmin accent like the Kennedy family does. He is literally almost a Midwesterner. And yet he is trying to do a bizarre accent in this film that is everything and nothing at the same time.
Oh, I just got a great idea now that you mentioned the Kennedys. Seagal as, which was the Kennedy that passed away recently? The bigger Kennedy.
Ted Kennedy?
Ted Kennedy. Steven Seagal is Ted Kennedy.
I mean, if he could only be in it for 6 minutes, he'd probably be down. I mean, I don't want to throw too much shade at Steven Seagal, but at the same time, it is kind of disconcerting to be so featured on the poster and promotional material for the film, and then you not be in it enough to justify being all over it. It's kind of false advertising.
It is. It really is false advertising. But, I think some people are catching on because you don't really hear about these films or hear of these films, until you look on his IMDb. Because I hadn't heard of this film before you mentioned it to me. So that kind of says something about the film's, status, reputation, I guess. But we should talk about the plot. We started talking about the plot and we kind of...
Sure.
So Johnny Messner plays a dirty cop who gets fired. His son is not a drug dealer, but he is a drug user, and he gets involved in this robbery, and he's told to hide the cash from the leader of the gang, played by Zach Ward. Great performance by Zach Ward in this movie, by the way. So he's told to hide the money until they can get it later. Zach Ward and his what would you call it, a lackey, his henchman, come to his house, and the money is gone. And the kid doesn't understand where the money, what happened to the money, where it came from, and Zach Ward kills him. So
in a pretty brutal scene too. I mean,
yeah,
it's a pretty brutal scene. I mean, you have Zach Ward's character essentially telling his crony to beat the shit out of Chester Rushing, who plays Chance Wilson. And then he sticks the gun in his mouth and lets it linger for a second. Mm-hmm. And then he shoots him with the most anticlimactic blood spurt you've ever seen for someone being shot point blank or with a gun jammed in their mouth. But it's a pretty brutal scene. I mean, that's kind of the weird thing about this movie is there are some scenes in it that are pretty good that stand out as if it's like this deserves to be in a movie better than this one.
Well, I think Zach Ward's performance deserves to be in a movie better than this one.
I agree. He's actually pretty good. And, again, if you haven't seen him in a lot of stuff, I mean, I've seen him obviously in A Christmas Story. And the thing that I remember him in more than anything else is playing the brother of one of the main characters in Freddy vs. Jason.
Yeah, he did. He played, he played the brother...
in the dream sequence.
Yes. Because
that killed himself.
Because Jason Ritter's character has this friend, I forgot the character, Brendan Mitchell, I think it's Brendan Mitchell or something, and he has this dream sequence where his brother is in the bathtub and his wrists are slit. And yeah, that was Zach Ward, and Zach Ward I thought was great. He's great in a lot of things. I think he doesn't get nearly the attention he deserves as an actor.
I mean, he's a good character actor. But he is acting circles around Seagal in the scenes that they have together. I think one of my favorite lines, not my favorite line. I think we probably both have the same favorite line from this movie because it almost feels like it's from a better written film than this one.
Uh-huh.
The best line in this film comes out of DMX's mouth, and it is delivered to Zach Ward, and he says,
"Oh, wait a minute." Yep. Is it the Gremlins line?
He says, and I quote, "Problems keep multiplying with water. Problems keep multiplying with water, Gizmo." And it's like, what?
Gremlins, man. Watch a fucking movie.
Yeah. And it's like, holy shit, that's a funny line. It makes no fucking sense, but it's a funny line. Like, and then hearing DMX go, "It's from Gremlins. Watch it." What?
That's a great line.
It is. Like, it is a genuinely funny line in a bad movie. Like,
I wouldn't be surprised, though, if it was just an improvised line from DMX.
Maybe. I don't know if DMX is able to improv. I mean, improving is not something that everyone can do. It is a skill, but it feels like a line that someone wrote, and then when they wrote it down, they were like, "This is the funniest shit I've ever written." And you know what? To some extent, they're not wrong. It is a very funny line, but it doesn't really work for his character because that is the one and only time he says anything like that.
And it kind of breaks the cardinal rule. Never mention a better film in your bad film.
Oh, yeah, because then all you'll be thinking is like, I could be watching Gremlins right now. I don't have to be watching Steven Seagal sit behind a table for 6 minutes, being weird and just...
Should we talk about the scenes between Steven Seagal and Zach Ward? Because, spoiler alert, Zach Ward and Steven Seagal are father and son.
But he's not actually his son. He, adopted him.
Oh, okay.
Because at one point he's like, "You were never really a father to me." He's like, "Okay." I think that's what they said. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm 90% sure at one point they were like, "Yeah, he adopted him as his son."
Well, that makes sense because they look nothing alike. They sound nothing alike.
At all. And they give Zach Ward's character one of those, every villain in a movie has to have a tick thing, so he has the tick with the lighter.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so Zach Ward's character is flicking a Zippo lighter in and out.
Yeah, playing with the flint.
And then at the end of the film, Johnny Mesner's character throws the lighter to Seagal, and Seagal understands that now that Frank Wilson's character has the lighter, he must have killed his son. So that almost feels like that was the entire purpose of the lighter in the film, was just to be like...
Chekhov's lighter, if you will.
Yeah, exactly. The scenes between Seagal and Zach Ward are...
Same?
Weird.
Well, it's the same. They kind of are the same scene every time. It's Zach Ward.
And they do it 4 times.
Yeah, Zach Ward. I'm gonna kill this guy. I'm gonna do this and do that. And Seagal keeps telling him, "Don't do this. Don't do that. Don't hurt people. Don't rob. Don't kill people. Don't rob people." Seagal's trying to be the voice of reason because X. Oh, by the way, okay, sorry. Seagal has this subplot with this woman who's a supplier. But they never say what she is supplying. I mean, we assume they're drugs, but they never say what drugs they are.
"I'm bringing in the stuff."
Yeah, that's all they mention it as, the stuff.
The stuff.
He never they never specify what the stuff is. The woman is only seen 2 or 3 times in the film. Seagal's supposed to be this like huge drug cartel leader, but we don't really see anything to that effect. We see him talk about getting drugs, but not much else other than that.
Well, that and the fact that I never really understood what Steven Seagal's character was complaining to Zach Ward about. At the beginning of the film, Steven Seagal's character is in a room with someone who has failed him, and the guy's like, "You're gonna kill me, aren't you?" And he's like, "Yep, I'm gonna kill you." But he doesn't kill him, his crony does. And Zach Ward's character calls Steven Seagal on it later in the film. He's like, "Yeah, well, I like killing people. You have other people do it for you." And like you said, those scenes between Zach Ward and Steven Seagal are so samey that you never get a better sense of what Steven Seagal's character is actually doing, or what his real problem with Zach Ward's character is, because the scenes that they said, like you said, the scenes between them are the same thing over and over again. It is literally the same thing. The dialogue is changed minorly.
Basically, it's like Zach Ward's character has daddy issues. That's basically what it comes down to. I mean,
and Steven Seagal's character is begging him not to kill people.
Exactly. And there's almost a thing with Steven Seagal in the film. He's almost a sympathetic character in a way. Because like I said, he's trying to be the voice of reason in this fucked up situation. And Zach Ward is this, unstable powder keg. And, you almost feel sorry for Seagal because he has this, complete crazy fuck up of a son. And he's just trying to... He's trying to be the good drug dealer, I guess. He's trying to be the sensitive, introspective drug dealer.
It is weird that Steven Seagal's character is written as pseudo-sympathetic. Because realistically, that does not really work in this film.
No.
It would work in a film that was better written than this one. I mean, this film's plot is boilerplate cop drama. I mean, it is. They are not going anywhere close to outside the box. They're in the box inside the other box that you could go out of. They fall on every single trope known to man. They utilize every piece of pre-written cheap dialogue that you can think of with these weird, like, badass things that the characters are saying. And in the hands of better screenwriters, you might have actually been able to sell the Steven Seagal character as a sympathetic character who is the voice of reason. But with the way the film ends, all I can think is, if he's the voice of reason, then why does he have this weird speech to Johnny Messner at the end of the film where he's like, "I'm going to kill you and take you out of the world because the world will be a better place without you in it." And it's like, what? That is not what a sympathetic character says at all.
But this, like, you're right. This is a straight up cop thriller, advertised as an action film, which it is very much not.
There's no action scenes in this movie whatsoever.
No, it's very much just procedural. Who killed my son? What am I going to do about it?
Well, it's like a revenge flick, right? I mean, it's a typical revenge police thriller, like, someone killed my son, and I'm gonna go to hell and back to punish them for it, and I'm gonna go on the warpath and kill everyone in between me and my goal. With
very, very terrible twists in turns. Like, you find out DMX was working for Seagal the whole time, because he
like 10 minutes into the movie.
Because Messner wants DMX to take this bullet to the lab to see if it matches the one that killed his son. And immediately DMX gets into the car with Zach Ward and gives him the bullet. And DMX is like, "Oh man, you know how long these things take to process." Whenever Messner asks him how the forensics is going, and DMX is like, "Oh, you know how long these take. You'll have it in a couple weeks," or something like that. So I mean, it was a pretty lame attempt at a backstab twist.
But they show it so early in the film that it holds no weight. There's no weight to it.
No, it doesn't. It's basically showing your hand right at the start. It's like, what do you got now?
Before you've even flopped any of the cards over, you're like, look, And
I don't like, another twist is, the Zach Ward being Steven Seagal's quote unquote son. I don't know if that was supposed to be a twist, but I saw it a mile away.
I didn't understand what the point of it was. I mean, he could have just been his, like, pseudo-son lackey, and that wouldn't have changed anything.
I think that it was trying to be a film about the dynamic between fathers and sons.
Sure. No, I mean, yeah, that 100% on the nose, that is exactly what it's going for. Again, in more adept hands, it could have actually worked.
It could have been successful. It could have been like, wow, this is amazing. Well done.
I mean, it's an interesting juxtaposition. You know, it is an interesting juxtaposition between Johnny Messner and Chester Rushing and Steven Seagal and Zach Ward. But
I mean, in the hands of a director like Michael Mann, or
even Andrew Davis.
Exactly. It could have been just a very taut criminal crime thriller, and even kept Seagal in it. Because, Seagal, like I said, working with Andrew Davis, does great work. So it could have been something really special. But like you said, it's all boilerplate.
Yeah. My worry here is with this first film, my worry is that every film that we watch that's a Steven Seagal cop film is going to be very boilerplate and similar. And look, at the end of the day, not every movie can be Under Siege.
Yeah, not every movie can be, hard to kill.
Above the law. I mean, that's not just Steven Seagal. That's filmmakers and directors and actors. Not every film that Sam Neill is in is fucking Jurassic Park.
No.
Just like every film Jeff Goldblum's in is not Independence Day or The Fly. They're going to have films where they are not given much to do. The direction is not maybe something that they're into. The script isn't very well written, and they come up short. And you know what? That happens sometimes. But man, I'm worried that we're going to be running into a lot of films like this, that it's just boilerplate spy thriller, boilerplate cop thriller. And look, that's fine. We're here for it. I'm here for it. I found things in this movie that I liked. There are some.
Have you ever wanted to dive deeper into the horror movies you love? Beyond the Blood is a horror podcast for fans who want more than just surface level screams. We do deep dives into the movies that shaped us, digging into director commentaries, behind the scenes stories, deleted scenes, and the special features that most people skip. Each episode is a love letter to the genre. We break down how these films were made, the creative risks that paid off or didn't, and the lasting impact they've had on the genre as a whole. From 70s slashers to modern nightmares, we celebrate the craft, chaos, and characters that keep us coming back. If you're the kind of fan who rewatches movies with the commentary on, or you simply grew up in the video store horror aisle, the Beyond the Blood podcast was made for you. New episodes every single week. Subscribe, and let's dig deep. Welcome to the Beyond the Blood podcast.
Hilarious pieces of dialogue. There is another line of dialogue that I laughed out loud at, and I wish the film had ended on it. So towards the end of the film, Steven Seagal is talking to some of his compatriots at the bar, and he's calling him out. He's like, hey, you turned your back on me. You're going behind my back with my son to try and kind of usurp me as the leader of the drug king, the drug world that they're running. And the guy, I forget what the character says, but Steven Seagal whips out his 1911 and goes bang, 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 and shoots all three of them and goes, that's part of the life, bitch. And it's like, what? Where is this shit coming from?
Oh, ending.
Because he never had fucking pithy one-liners in any of his movies. And all of a sudden, he's pulling one-liners out of his ass. Like, what?
I guess. I mean, he's...
But guess what, Trevor? He does something in this film that we talked about early on in our show, which is like the third episode at this point. It was like our first episode of the show. He plays the villain in this movie, and he's fucking believable as the villain.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. Like, he works as a believable, nasty bad guy.
He does.
He's not a redeemable character in this film, the way that he is written by the two screenwriters, Law and Walters. Again, if it were a more adept group of screenwriters, you could probably have made him a somewhat sympathetic character. But when he kills Johnny Messner at the end of the film, in all of 30 seconds, you are not a sympathetic character at all.
No. And by the way, that fight was pathetic. That was like, what, a minute and a half?
Well, what I was taken aback by was the fact that it was so similar to something we saw in the last film we talked about. It was very similar to Above the Law. Or was it Above the Law?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, it is very similar to Above the Law. He kills the villain. So imagining that Steven Seagal is the hero in this film, which apparently that's the way it's clearly being written by the way he handles the actual hero in 30 seconds, he kills him as quickly as he kills the villain in Above the Law. He kills Henry Silva in that film in several moves. In this film, he kills Johnny Messner's character in just about as many moves.
Yeah, I mean, Henry Silva and just... Yeah, you're right. He wasted him pretty damn... Well, because look at Henry Silva in that film. It's not like he was a formidable opponent.
No.
But with someone like Johnny Messner...
He could be.
The guy... Yeah, Johnny Messner is a very well-built dude. I mean, he could fuck a guy up, and he gets taken down by Seagal so damn quickly. It's like, it was almost as if it was in Seagal's contract that he cannot lose or die in a film.
No, Trevor. I genuinely think you're onto something. That genuinely feels like the reality.
And Johnny Messner had to be like, you know what? Fucking fine. Let's just do this.
Well, I don't think they care as long as they're being paid. I don't know. I mean, again, I don't know what the motivation is for making a film like this. If you're making it because you want to act and you want to work and you genuinely love the craft, hey, I'm all here for it. I'm right there with you. But if you're making this movie just to get paid and to keep up with SAG membership and stuff like that, like, you know what? Then you know what? You probably don't give a shit if your character's killed off in 2 seconds on screen. So even though you're ostensibly the fucking hero of the entire goddamn film and the story is based around you. But here's the funny thing. I have not seen Johnny Messner in anything else other than this film. Nothing.
I mean, his name sounded familiar when I read it in the credits. Apparently he's been in stuff like Anaconda's The Hunt for the Blood Orchid. He was like Tears from the Sun. The Paul Walker version of Paul Walker Running Scared movie, which is a very underrated action flick, and I highly recommend anybody listening rent Running Scared from 2006. It's great. Yeah, but mostly I think he just plays like henchman and mostly direct-to-video films from what I'm seeing on his filmography. He's kind of like, oh, that guy, kind of.
I mean, he's in this long line of actors who are acting in direct-to-video or direct-to-streaming action films. I mean, Armand Asante. I mean, we could go back and forth and name people for quite a while who act. Dean Cain. I mean, you get a lot of these actors who act in these lower budget direct-to-video / DVD films. And look, reality of the fucking industry is everybody's got to work. So
yeah, I don't begrudge anyone for doing.
Fuck no. You want to fucking work? Hell yeah. Go earn a paycheck. You want to be in this movie? It goes on your IMDb credits. You get paid. You know what? And any of the detractors, ourselves included, we can take a long fucking walk off a short fucking pier, because guess what? We're not detracting from them getting paid.
Like, people
they
give
still
shit
got
Bruce
paid.
Willis doing, or Nicolas Cage doing direct-to-video films, and Bruce Willis and Nicolas Cage are still paid, still getting work, and still putting shit on their IMDb profile. So,
and they're still front and center on the fucking box art for these movies. Just like Steven Seagal is for this film.
So, I mean, if Steven Seagal wants to do a direct-to-video film, God bless him.
But here's the problem. Steven Seagal is the exception that proves the rule. He is not in these movies, at least he's not in this movie enough to justify how he is billed on the poster and in the film.
He's more like a special guest appearance by credit.
Yeah, he's a cameo. He is a dragged out cameo.
Yeah, he's like a minute longer than what's called a cameo.
Yeah, because DMX, as far as I'm concerned, DMX is the real villain of the film. DMX is also disposed of rather quickly in the film. So that doesn't really change anything about the way characters are handled in this film. But DMX is the real villain of this film, because he pushes the plot along more than Seagal does.
And he's good at it. I mean,
DMX plays a believable, crooked, dirty cop. But, I mean, Seagal he gets... it's weird because Nicolas Cage and Bruce Willis, their track record with film is heads and shoulders above where Seagal's is. Bruce Willis and Nicolas Cage have had hits in the last decade.
Well, they still get called to do theatrical films.
Exactly. And Seagal has not gotten a call to do a theatrical film in a very long time. I believe we're looking at probably, a decade plus now?
And as much as people think we're shitting on Seagal, we want to see him in a theatrical film.
I want to see him in a movie where he's actually doing something. I want to see him not fucking standing behind a desk or sitting down at a table. I want to see, if you're going to be on the poster for the movie, my dude, you need to be in the fucking movie, man. Because Johnny Messner and DMX are pulling their weight more than you are.
You don't even have to do martial arts, man. Just be in the film and just be Seagal. I mean, use a gun. I don't care, but we need more Seagal if you're going to advertise Seagal. Really, we're more shitting on the advertising of the film. We're shitting on the studio that decided to pull the rug out from under us by claiming it was a Steven Seagal film. And we're going to have a lot of these on the podcast. I'm warning listeners right now that we're going to have a lot of the films where basically it's just Seagal cut into an existing film because it's our name to put on the cover. So, I mean...
Yeah, I hate to say it, but Messner and DMX would not have had even the modicum of a blip on the radar that putting Seagal on your film does. Even if his star is severely tarnished, Steven Seagal's name still has some drawing power in the industry. And among people who are mainstream film goers. They still know who Steven Seagal is.
Yeah. He's a name people recognize.
Yeah, he's a known quantity.
Exactly.
And again, he has had success in the past. He was unequivocally one of the biggest action stars of the 90s. I would say he is the action star of the 90s. I mean, he made great action films in the 90s.
Well, his films were quality.
Yeah.
I mean, when you compare, like, the critical reception of Seagal films in the 90s to the critical reception of Van Damme films in the 90s, you see a huge difference. Seagal films were kind of the steak and potatoes, raw, action film. Critics seem to enjoy, actually. If you look at the critical reception of Van Damme or Seagal films by like Siskel and Ebert or something like that, you'll notice a huge difference than when it comes to Van Damme. Because Van Damme films were, I mean, they're well loved now, but critically they were not darlings. I can't think of a single Seagal film that got, like, if you were to grade it on today's Rotten Tomato scale, a 60% or more.
No, I mean, with Seagal films, you knew what you were getting. And that was not a bad thing. You knew you were going to get Aikido, you were going to get dry line delivery from Seagal, you were going to get maybe some Eastern mysticism or environmental message or anti-drug message injected into the film, but you knew what you were going to get. And there's nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong with knowing what you're going to get and being okay with it because it is successful. People go and eat at McDonald's all the time because they know McDonald's is a consistent meal that you can go get that for the most part is always going to be the same.
And he had directors that knew how to work with him and what to do with him.
Mm-hmm.
And I know we keep bringing up his name, but if he worked with an Andrew Davis again, I think that he could see a real career resurgence.
I mean, he needs to work with someone who goes, Steven, you need to get in front of the goddamn camera, man. Mm-hmm. Like, you need to put in the effort necessary to justify where you are on the billing for this film. Because walking around half-dazed, delivering lines in a pseudo-French Cajun accent doesn't cut it. It doesn't cut it now. It doesn't cut it then, and it's not going to cut it in the future. Just because the Hollywood industry right now is completely in the tank thanks to COVID doesn't mean that our standards have all plummeted because we can't go watch a film that was released in 2020, save for a handful of films.
Basically, he needs a director to say, Steven, do better.
Yeah, and they need to do better.
Like, even in a small role like this, Chris, all the director would have to say to him is Steven, that was good. I need a little more energy. Do it a little better. That's all you need to say, because I don't know if they're intimidated by him or not, but, someone just has to say to him, Steven, I know you can do better. Do it.
Stop sleepwalking through the film.
Exactly. People are paying to watch this. Give them what they want. Because he can,
And he should want to. And the other issue here is the thing that I don't think we've really taken into account is maybe he just doesn't care.
And I don't want to believe that. I really don't.
But here's the thing. From everything we've heard about Steven Seagal and the person that he is, I'm not going to be surprised if that's the case. And frankly, I would err on the side of that is the case. And that's unfortunate because, again, when given the right role and when given the right director and when given the right set of people surrounding him, he can make interesting films. He can make films that are worthwhile, that people remember fondly, like Under Siege, like Above the Law, like Hard to Kill. So, but this movie, let me put it this way. I have seen much worse. Oh. You have seen much worse.
Yeah.
This movie is not really that bad. It's just rather generic and rather boring.
It's mediocre. It doesn't try hard enough because I don't think the directors tried hard enough. Because it seemed like this movie just was the bare minimum, and they figured that would be enough to get an audience. And thank God for Bill Cobb's character, because he brought a life and a performance into this film that really I so loved watching him. But when he got murdered, I was like, shit, there goes the best part of the film, next to Zach Ward.
Well, and the other thing is the scene between Zach Ward and Bill Cobb is the best scene in the film. And when Bill Cobb is talking about like his kind of philosophy on life, again, that is a good scene in a bad movie. That is a actual really good scene. And it actually kind of cuts right to the core of one of the characters in the film who is pretty interesting. And actually, you actually have something you want to see this character kind of go on this journey with the other characters, and then he obviously gets murdered. But yeah, this scene between him and Zach Ward is probably my favorite scene in the entire film.
Well, because Bill Cobb shows absolutely no signs of being afraid. He knows what's about to happen to him. He knows he's going to die, and he is almost zen about it. He accepts it, and he goes and just lets it happen because he knows that, nothing he can do. But it's not like he's giving up.
But also, Bill Cobb is trying. He's actually putting in a performance. He's not just sitting there looking half dazed, mumbling through his lines. I mean, again, that to me is just the sign of a true actor, is that even when he's given chicken shit, he turns it into chicken salad. And there is something to be said for that level of professionalism.
Yeah, I mean, he is an ultimate professional. He is consummate. He is a terrific character actor that I love seeing in films, no matter how bad they are, because he at least tries.
Mm-hmm. Oh, for sure.
So I was really happy to see him in this film and just being Bill Cobb. And I kept thinking to myself, you are too good for this, Bill.
Well, yeah, I mean, again, when you have character actors who have been in a large amount of things, they have a rather diverse filmography, like someone like Bill Cobb, they really elevate the film, and it sticks out like a sore thumb when they're in the film doing as good of a job as he is or Zach Ward is, when the other folks aren't being given the opportunity to do that. I mean, DMX and Zach Ward and Bill Cobb are the best parts of this movie. Johnny Messner is not given much to do other than kind of, he's doing the Frank Castle thing.
A Clint Eastwood wannabe.
Yeah, Dirty Harry, Frank Castle, The Punisher, Charles Bronson.
He's the bad cop you don't want to fuck with, and he's going to get revenge. But
exactly.
They say he's a bad cop. They don't really elaborate much on it, and he doesn't act like it.
No.
He doesn't act like, I'm going to break the rules to get the answer. He doesn't do that. He pretty much just kind of, I don't know, everything kind of just happens to him. Another thing we haven't talked about is the stripper girlfriend character of Messner's son. Although, is she his girlfriend?
Oh, she's murdered at the end of the movie. That's all I know.
Oh, by the way, can we talk about that? It's a thing. That's the final fucking scene of the movie.
Yeah, I didn't even realize what was going on.
Yeah, it's like it happens so suddenly. It's like bang, credits.
Yeah, I was like, wait, what? Like that's it? Okay.
We find out she's the one who took the money and ran. So, and at the end, it finds her. I think she's gone to like a tropical island. I forget, but she gets caught up. She's just like in a hotel, like a seedy motel, and she gets caught up to by, was it the woman?
Yeah,
and the woman.
It's like Steven Seagal's right-hand woman,
the provider of the drugs or the stuff,
right?
And
the stuff.
The last thing you see is
the goods.
Is she goes, no, oh, bang, credits.
Yeah, it's like, okay, holy shit, like that character was not that
that's
important.
How you're gonna end the film?
That character wasn't important enough to give her a ending past the Johnny Messner Steven Seagal ending. And by the way, on top of everything else, they keep doing scenes with Chester Rushing as Johnny Messner's son, and they keep doing this like weird dream sequence where he's like having flashbacks about his son. That's never addressed. There's never any conclusion to that. Johnny Messner's character is murdered by Steven Seagal after 2 seconds.
Yeah, we see him like lying in the morgue or something, like, and his eyes suddenly open or something like. And
again, things that are being done for better movies. That's from a better movie. Like someone saw that in a better movie and said, "We need to put something like that in our movie."
A lot of stuff.
Look, I mean, at the end of the day, this is our first direct to DVDs. Let's just call it DVOD, direct to video on demand Steven Seagal film.
Yeah,
I didn't know what to expect. I had my druthers as to what I should expect, but I went into it with an open mind. I wouldn't say that I was disappointed. I would say that it pretty much was in line with what I was expecting. Were there some good lines in the film that made me laugh out loud? Yeah. Was it for the reason that they were hoping? With one of them, probably. With the other one, probably not. But, I mean, ultimately, was I bored for an hour and a half? Shockingly, no. I didn't sit and look at how much time was left in the film.
No, I wasn't checking my watch either.
No. So, in that respect, this film was an hour and a half of entertainment that I'm not looking back on it and saying, man, that really sucked. I'm looking back on it and saying, I wish there was more Steven Seagal in the Steven Seagal movie.
I was thinking this has so much potential.
Exactly.
And it kind of just...
Let Steven Seagal be the villain. Like, really. Let him do the unhinged villain thing. Or the sympathetic villain thing.
I mean, he's good at... Well, like, in Machete, we see him play not a villain, but a henchman.
Well, he's the main villain of the film, isn't he? Isn't he the main villain of the film?
I don't.
He's the one that Danny Trejo fights at the end of the film.
I thought Jeff Fahey was the villain.
Well, Steven Seagal's character is the one that kills Machete's family.
Oh, I haven't seen Machete in a long time, so.
Yeah, so Steven Seagal's character, I think, is the one who, like, turns on Trejo's family and, like, gets them killed or murdered or deported or something like that. I don't remember. Machete's a good movie. It's better than this. But again, also another film where Steven Seagal is playing the villain and being given something to do more than nothing.
Well, I mean, at least he tried in that one.
That's true.
So, I mean, you can't be mad at it. There, you know.
Sure. No, I mean, again, it's one of those things where you see glimmers of something in this film, and I wish, and you wish, that they had done more with that, but they didn't. So we have to settle for what we got. Hopefully, as we start moving backwards through the most recent Seagal films, we will begin to see more of Seagal doing Seagal things, and less of Seagal just kind of showing up and being stoic. But here's the thing. I get the distinct feeling, Trevor, that we're going to be seeing more of Steven Seagal being marginalized in these films where he's advertised as a lead than we are the ones where he's not.
Have you been to his Iron Claw lately, Seagal's?
I have.
Have you seen what his latest film is going to be?
I have, supposedly, but that was announced like 2 years ago.
So who knows if that's going to happen.
I know, yeah. If you go to Steven Seagal's IMDb page right now, Above the Law 2 was announced, but Above the Law 2 was announced, I believe, on Steven Seagal's Twitter. So I would love for that to happen. I would love for that to happen, too. I mean, because that might not even be a direct-to-video film.
Toscani.
And that might not even be a direct-to-video film.
Well, I hope it isn't.
Yeah.
But, fingers crossed, man. I mean, bring back Nico Toscani to kick some ass. Hell, no, Henry Silva's dead. So can't bring him back. The actor is. So there's really no. Anyway, but yeah, hell, I'd settle for a sequel. Like Under Siege 3.
Get Richard Haddam to write it. He would never do it. But we're not talking about Above the Law 2.
No.
On the next podcast, we are actually talking about
Hard to Kill.
A film that is a well-known good Seagal film, like you just said, Hard to Kill, where Steven Seagal plays Mason Storm. And I am looking forward to that film because, if I remember correctly, that's a good one.
It is a great one, and it has one of my favorite all Seagal films. I'm going to take
you to the bank, Senator Trent. The blood bank. Senator Trent, played by friend of the Kulturecast, one William Sadler. One of my favorite, if not my favorite character actor of all time.
Oh, he is definitely one of my favorites as well.
You might be a king or a lowly street sweeper, but sooner or later you dance with the Reaper. Yeah, man. Fuck yeah, William Sadler's awesome, man. I'm looking forward to watching Hard to Kill. I have not seen it in a very long time.
Me neither, so I'm excited to watch it again. It's going to be a really great one. So yeah, that's going to be fun. Because you can't have a William Sadler, Steven Seagal be in a film together and have it not be incredible.
You can't have William Sadler in a film and it not be incredible, especially when he's playing a villain. Look at Die Hard 2. That is not a good movie, but William Sadler's pretty good in it.
It wasn't terrible, but I still prefer Die Hard with a Vengeance if we're talking sequels.
Sure. But until Hard to Kill, Trevor, where can people find you if they want to track you down?
Well, people can find me on Twitter at Neuromancer, and they can find me occasionally, once a month, on the Kulturecast with yours truly, Chris Stachiw.
Yes, sir.
And yeah, that's where you can find me.
And as for me, like Trevor just mentioned, you can find me on my other podcast, The Kulturecast, where I talk about films that aren't only Steven Seagal films, though we have covered Steven Seagal films on that podcast. We will be covering them here, however. But if you would like to listen to those ahead of time, I believe we have covered Under Siege 1 and Under Siege 2. A couple other ones, but I don't remember. The only reasons I remember Under Siege 1 and 2 is because one of my close friends ended up writing Under Siege 2, Mr. Richard Haddam, and if you want to hear him talk about Under Siege 2, you can listen to that podcast, or when we cover it on this podcast, I'll be running the same interview. So you'll be able to hear it there or here. And as for me, you can follow me on Twitter at casualty_Chris. If you want to find this podcast, go to onseagal.com. That is where the RSS feed for this podcast is. We're also on all podcatchers, both iOS and Android. And make sure to catch us on the next episode.